Cake Masters magazine is one of the UK's leading cake decorating monthlies. It includes fabulous step-by-step cake tutorials, recipes, expert advice, competitions, interviews, design inspirations, and so much more. You can order your 12-month subscription to Cake Masters magazine right here for just £35 and with free UK P&P. To order your 12-month subscription, either visit createandcraft.tv or call 09056 480 480 and quote the item number on your screen.
Hello and a very warm welcome. Welcome along to our second ever Cake Academy shows. This is your destination every Sunday at 5 p.m. if you're interested in cake decorating. It is fast becoming, if not already, the most popular craft across the United Kingdom, and globally cake decorating is massive. So if you are someone who's just joining us, maybe for the very first time, maybe you've heard the word on social networking, on Twitter, on Facebook, and you're thinking, oh, I don't normally tune into Create and Craft, but you know what? I like the idea of cake decorating. I'm going to give this a go. During the show, we're joined by a lovely lady. Christina is here, Christina Ludlam, and she's going to be giving us lots of demonstrations for you fairly soon. And more importantly than that, the hints and the tips to get the best out of your cake decorating. And through the show, of course, we'll be bringing you lots of fantastic products that we'll be using and demonstrating, which, of course, you can purchase if you choose to. Now, the way that that works is, as Christina does her demonstrations throughout the show, as what she's using changes, we will change the details on the screen to match what she's actually using. So you can actually make a little shopping list if you wanted to, and find it all, of course, on our website or on the phones. So this is what we call an L, which is coming up on the screen now. Now, the most important thing is make sure that you get the item number right of what you're looking for, which is just there. The description of the product will be just underneath it as well. The all-important price will be underneath that. And then if you do choose to order, you can order in lots of ways, either on our phone number, which is just there, 09056 480 480, or you can also order on the website, which is, of course, free to order there, www.createandcraft.tv. So have a little notepad handy as we go through all the demonstrations. I won't be reading out the item numbers and the prices to you, but they will be on the screen. If you're interested in something, you can go ahead and order on the phones or indeed on the website. But of course, it's all about our guest, and it's all about the hints and tips. So whatever you do, sit back, relax, have a cup of tea and enjoy the Cake Academy. So, yeah, great to have your company. I'm Dave Bradford, and this is Christina Ludlam. Good to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's been a while, a few months, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely to be back.
Now, tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you're a cake decorator, but what do you do on a regular day-to-day basis?
I'm actually a teacher. I run a Sugarcraft school, Cakey Bakey Art, that's in Derbyshire.
Right.
Where students come to me to learn, really, I always say to learn how not to do things as well, because it's so easy to sort of fall into those traps. And actually, I started quite a long time ago, so all those mistakes that can be made, I've already made them and learned how to get myself out of them.
Right.
So that's pretty much quite a lot of what I teach.
Because, I mean, if you've ever had an issue where maybe something's gone a little bit wrong, and you don't quite know what's gone wrong or why, you can also email in if you've got any questions. Maybe you've had a bit of a disaster recently, not quite sure exactly what made it go wrong. Email in studio@createandcraft.tv, and hopefully we'll be able to answer that question. But it's going to be full of hints and tips, full of decorating ideas, but also, of course, the important equipment you need to get fantastic professional results. And can I also just at this point mention, if you're a fan of Wilton, we in the UK are the only place where you can get everything from Wilton's catalogue in one place. So that's all on the website as well, createandcraft.tv. But Wilton are distributing all of their items, every single thing that they produce, directly through us. Normally, if you find them in stores and so on, you get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Yeah. But everything from Wilton is supplied on our website, createandcraft.tv. OK, first things first then, Christina.
OK.
Preparation.
Well, I'm going to get into paste preparation. So, when we're using paste, so we tend to buy it as ready roll icing or fondant or sugar paste. In itself, it's fine to cover cakes with and that sort of thing. But when, you know, when gravity's on our side, and we can sort of place it over the top of the cake and it will drape perfectly. When we're wanting something a little bit more from our paste, then we have to sort of add something to it. So we're going to add a strengthener. So I'm going to basically turn this fondant into modelling paste. Okay. So I'm going to add a strengthener. So I'm using Tylo.
Now, we touched on that last week. I don't know if you were watching last week's show. You can watch it back as well if you want to, but certainly Tylo we talked about. And this gives more strength to the
Tylo is a food-grade thickener, so it's used in products like cottage cheese and there are a couple of other ice cream, making ice cream and that sort of thing. So Tylo, or Tylo's powder, or carboxymethyl cellulose, it's a man-made alternative to gum tragger cans. Now, gum tragger cans we can also use, but it does take take a while to activate.
I've never heard of that before.
No, well, gum tragger, again, is used in food preparation, but it's a natural product. It comes from the sap of a tree grown in the Middle East. Now, it takes a while to activate, so you'd have to add your powder. It's in powder form, just the same as the Tylo, but you'd have to add your gum tragger cans a good 6 or 8 hours before you need to use it.
With Tylo, it's
With Tylo, it
instant,
starts to activate immediately. I still like to leave it a good half an hour or so, but it does start to activate immediately. Now, although we've all got our own preference as to how much Tylo we'd add to our paste, I'm using 250 grams of sugar paste here, and I'm going to add half a level teaspoon of Tylo. That will start to activate, and as I say, it will be strong enough to start using straight away.
Does Tylo taste of anything?
It doesn't have a taste,
right.
No, and it doesn't have a smell either. I'm just going to take my glasses off.
I know Rosie last week was saying that this is one of the absolute staples that I must have in any
absolutely,
cake decorators.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, it's very economical. You know, you can buy modelling paste ready-made, and you know that's super. Particularly if you need it straight away, and you're wanting colours and that sort of thing.
So it actually activates with the sugar paste.
But it does, yes. It starts to activate as soon as it sort of hits the moisture, basically. And as I say, because it starts to activate straight away, you can start to work with it straight away. So there's none of that hanging around.
Now, also, the sugar paste we're using is the Renshaw sugar paste, which I know for so many people like yourself is the sugar paste of choice.
It's a traditional brand. I started back in 1988, and Renshaw's was sort of the only brand I would ever use right from back then. It was just it's a very, very good consistent product. I'm adding a little bit of colour now. Now, if you're going to add colour and treat your paste with your Tylo, do them both separately. It doesn't matter which one you do first, but do them separately. Otherwise, the colour will grab a hold of that dry powder, and you'll get sort of dark specks that start to thicken up straight away.
So you've kneaded in the Tylo
So
now.
I've kneaded it in just a little bit. I'm not going to add lots of this colour.
Is this the gel?
It is, yes, or a paste.
That is really intense, that
it
colour,
is,
isn't it?
it
Compared
is.
to the supermarket stuff.
Yes, and of course, because the theme of today's show is baby, we want to keep everything fairly soft.
Actually, good point. I didn't mention that. Yeah, the whole theme of the actual
in case
show
you haven't
today
guessed.
is around the youngsters, the newborns and so on, as you can probably see from the cakes that are around us here. So.
Now, do you see, when I'm adding colour, I explain to students, stretch and snap your paste so you can start to pull it through straight away, first of all, and then knead it back together again. Otherwise, you find people tend to sort of... Are them cupcakes going to go flying? Can hear something rattling. People tend to sort of sit rolling it in their hands, and actually you're not really pulling that colour through. So far better to really get rough with it and pull that colour through. And you can see, I didn't actually squeeze any colour out. I just sort of cleaned the threads on the end of the...
It doesn't go streaky, it just blends beautifully.
And you end up with such a strong colour for such a small amount of paste, or small amount of colour paste.
And things like the colours and so on, and also the Renshaw sugar paste as well. You'll find all of that and details of that on our website as well, createcraft.tv.
So there we've got our paste. Now, because we've added the Tylo will start to strengthen the paste, but it will actually speed up the drying process. So straight away that needs to go into an airtight bag. Now, one thing I didn't mention, and I didn't use, if you want to prevent getting colour on your hands, you can either use gloves, or you could actually put a little bit of white vegetable fat onto your hands, and that will act as a bit of a barrier cream.
Okay.
I had it there, I had the gloves there, I didn't use either, but there you go.
So don't do as I do as I say.
Yeah, exactly. You see, I told you, you'll learn how not to do things, and then just pop that into a bag. Squeeze out the air. I don't suggest people tying knots in bags and things, because then you're trapping the air inside.
If you're using that sugar paste straight away for a cake or whatever, but you don't use it all,
yes.
Is that a good way of storing? Just
it
putting
is,
it back
yes,
in the bag?
but then I would put it into an airtight container as well, and keep it somewhere cool, because these things have a habit of sort of coming open, especially if you put lots of different colours into bags and into a cupboard, and you're sort of rummaging around, you might sort of accidentally open one of them. So pop them in an airtight container as well. But I'm going to pop that to one side now, just so that it doesn't dry out, and I'm going to use some that I prepared earlier.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's the preparation, the key preparation for your sugar paste. One thing I want to mention as well, which I don't think we had last week, we've actually got a special offer on. You saw at the beginning of the show the Cake Masters magazine, the subscription's available on the website as well, but we've actually got a special offer on the first 3 months of this year. So January, February and March editions for just £5. They're normally $3.70 each. So that's on the website or on the phones as well if you'd like to invest in those. So you're getting really about over over £10 worth of magazines there for only a £5 note, so that's another thing that you may well want to consider going for today. Now, a shopping list of what we used in that first section then, of the preparing of your sugar paste. We used, of course, the Pro Gel colours. Now, these are not like ones you buy in the supermarket. These are incredibly intense. You use the tiniest amount, and they are there, item numbers there as well, and the Tylo powder as well, which not only Christina but also Rosie last week said, you know, that's an absolute staple must-have in your kitchen. If you're interested in cake decorating, Tylo is the way to go. We've also got the Renshaw sugar paste as well. You're watching Cake Academy. Good afternoon. And do remember, of course, you can series record this. This is something we've never been able to do until now here at Create and Craft. Because it's going to be a dedicated go-to time every single week. You can, if you want to, just push series record on your Sky remote control, and then every single hour of the Cake Academy will be recorded there for posterity. You can dip into it as and when you need to. OK, so we're going to move on now to our first real project of the show, aren't we?
Yes, so I'm going to show you how to make these little baby shoes here. So just a little baby shoe. What I'm really, really excited about is the fact that we managed to get a free download onto the website.
OK.
So this is for the template. So if anybody at home wants to make these along with us, they can download this from the Cake Academy website or the Cake Academy page of the Create and Craft website. And I've just printed this off. I've actually enlarged this one, really because I don't want to be working with anything too small on live TV. So I've enlarged this to 125%, and I've laminated it, and then I'm going to cut these out, and then I've got some wipeable templates here.
So that is there. If you'd like to download it, just go to the Cake Academy section of the website, createandcraft.tv, and you'll find it there to just print off. And this is what it makes. If I just reach over and grab it from you just for a second. Look how sweet this is. Apologies for the plaster on my finger, by the way. Delved into my wash bag and met my razor.
Oh, gosh. Lesson learned.
There you go. Isn't that cute? So sweet. Imagine that on like a christening cake or something like that, or a newborn, a congratulations cake. It'd be lovely. Is that made from sugar paste as well?
It is, yeah. Well, now we've added the Tylo, it's actually modelling paste now, so it's the same thing, but we've added the Tylo, so it's classed as modelling paste, and that's really why we added it. You wouldn't be able to get your paste as thin as this, nor to stand up. It would just be flopping about if it didn't have the Tylo in it, particularly if you're adding a lot of colour. Now, I'm going to make this in red, so I've added quite a bit of colour, and that will actually alter the properties of the paste, so I need to add that extra little bit of Tylo.
So if you've maybe tried to do 3D in the past and it's gone a bit... Maybe it's because you haven't put Tylo in.
Oh, definitely. Definitely that will be the case. So I'm going to use a texture mat for this one. Because I want this lovely texture on here. Now I'm using a Katie Sue texture mat. This one's the Duchess. And I'm just dusting that with a little bit of corn flour. So that's just to stop the paste from sticking to it.
And we've done plenty of shows with Katie Sue.
Oh, yes, yes. And you know, so people sort of know me for using these quite often. I use them in all of my classes because they give you fantastic results. They can change things, you know, from a plain shoe into something like that, really quite
look at the
simply,
difference.
you know, and it's just all in the tools. You know, you don't actually have to do any extra work. It's just all done for you.
Well, the actual texture mats, and also we've got some moulds from Katie Sue. They're also in the show as well, which you can find at createandcraft.tv. So, because I've actually already cut out the front just to save a little bit of time. So with the templates, there are templates for the booties and they're also for the little shoes. So there are 4 pieces. I've already cut out the front piece and I've just added some stitches to it. But I'm going to show you how to get the texture, and I'm going to cut out the back piece. So when did you actually get involved in cake decorating? When did you realise that was your vocation? Well, 1988, really, when I was pregnant with my first son, Martin, and he's 26 now. So yeah, and a friend bought me a book, and I was instantly hooked. Absolutely instantly hooked, and it's just got bigger and bigger. Obviously, I've had other jobs and things in between, you know. But I started teaching 7 years ago. Right. Started teaching for a college, and no, never looked back. I love the fact that with these moulds, anyone can get a professional result. Obviously, there's an element of skill to cake decorating, kind of freestyle, a lot of skill. But the moulds give everybody the chance to get a great result. That's right. That's right. You know, and if you stick to names, you know, Wilton was around. My mum used to pipe with Wilton tubes and things. Katie Sue are another one. You know, there are lots and lots of very
good quality, you know, Karen Davis, another mould that I'm going to be using in a little while. They're just fabulous quality. Right, you see, I've rolled out some paste. This is going to be the lining of my shoe.
Okay.
Actually, I could perhaps do with rolling that just a little bit thinner. And this is really important, well, for me anyway, to get that realistic look around the back of the shoe. I didn't do it on that one, but I sort of, you know, you sort of evolve, and I just decided I quite like it to have around the back where you can see into the shoe, have that two-tone effect. So I'm just going to roll onto here. I've already put some corn flour onto my mat, so I'm going to press it red side down because it's the red side that I want as my pattern side. A little bit of corn flour on my fingers. Just press that paste down into your mat. It's really important to anchor it down. Otherwise, when you roll over the top of your texture mats or roll over the top of your paste is going to slide.
Right.
But we want it to pick up all of that texture.
And then a little roll.
Good roll backwards and forwards, and then turn it a quarter turn and do the same again. Now, don't worry about this extra paste. You know, we're going to cut out what we need, but this extra paste won't be wasted because we actually need a support in the toe of the shoe. So although your colours are mixed up, it doesn't matter. We can use that. So we'll peel that off so we've got that lovely texture there.
Look at that. That's amazing, isn't it?
It reminds me of a baby shawl. That's why I thought this would work really well for this show. So there's that piece. So now I'm going to cut out the shoe back, so the baby girl shoe back.
And you've laminated this, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yes, and it means you can wipe it then too. True. Now, I'm not going to cut on my nice blue board.
Do feel free, if you want to have that free download, it's on the Cake Academy section of the website, createandcraft.tv. Anyone can have this.
That's right. And as I say, you'll get the templates for 2 different shoes as well. So
oh, not just one, right?
No, so you get the ones for the booties and that I've actually adapted then to make Wellington boots as well. So I'm just cutting around this now with a craft knife, or you could use a pizza cutter or a cutting wheel. Try not to press too hard on the top of your template. We don't want to squash that pattern back out. And then you would go on and cut the rest of your shoe from there. But as I say, I've already done mine, so just trim that little bit off. So there's my back to my shoe. Now I'm going to add some stitches to that. Now, although I'm using a stitch wheel, I just want to show you, in this Wilton set, there's a comb. So if you sort of struggle with cutting wheels or with stitch wheels, you know, a lot of people are frightened of them. They tend to go off. They have a mind of their own. This is really easy. You can actually just apply your stitches, just a few at a time. Do you see?
Yeah, brilliant.
Just by going in sort of all the way along.
And remember, we are the one-stop shop for Wilton. Everything that they actually have on their itinerary to sell, it's all in stock here at Create and Craft. It's the only place in the UK where you can get everything from Wilton.
I wasn't aware of that. Yeah. That's fantastic.
And that's on createandcraft.tv. We went actually on... Actually, Georgina, my floor manager in the show, she was on the course as well. We went for a cake decorating day with Wilton. It was lovely. Yeah,
but wasted on you. You don't like cake. You don't eat cake, do you?
I like decorating. I like making cakes for other people.
Yeah. Did you make much mess?
Yeah.
All right, well, that's good. That's good, yeah. So do you see, I've also flipped it over because the inside of this will be seen from the front of the shoe when we put this on. So I've flipped it over. I've made a row of stitches across the top as well.
And the toolkit, by the way, there's 10 tools in the Wilton toolkit, and each one really valuable.
Definitely.
They're not expensive,
there are a lot of tools in there that I use. And actually, the Dresden tool, this Dresden tool is fab. I absolutely love this, and I wouldn't be without the Dresden tool. So, for the sole, I've actually prepared a few earlier. Just wanted to show you how much thicker the paste is for this. So, it's probably about sort of 4 or 5 millimetres thick. And that's for the sole. And they're far better if you can dry them out first. You know, allow them to dry so you've got something firm to work on, something sturdy. Now, if you want to, you can flip it over, and with that Dresden tool, just mark a heel in there. Or you could actually sort of mark the, you know, even more tread in there, and then flip it back. So that's nice and dry. You can hear it's nice and solid.
How long does that take to dry then with the tile?
Well, I just left them overnight. But I mean, you could start within an hour or so, really. But you know, it depends how long you've got. So now, again with the Dresden tool, I just want to make this just a little bit easier. Now, I'm not sure whether it might help to have a look at that board. Shall I bring it across? Because on here, I'm just going to give you a better look at what I'm creating. Okay. So I want to. Do you see here on the bottom of this back piece how I've just sort of curled it under a little bit? It's so I've got something to stick to the to this sole. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just encouraging this paste to fold, I suppose. It's a little bit like ironing.
Like a score
yes,
on a card, yeah.
Yeah, of course, you see, I'm thinking dressmaking, you're thinking papercraft. So just, can you see, just turn that over, and then I've got somewhere to put my glue, and I can pop it onto the back of here. So a little bit of edible glue, which, again, either edible glue or you can mix some Tylo with water and just...
Oh, that will do the same job.
It
Tylo
will,
with
yes,
water. Okay.
yes. And just sort of shake it up, put probably, I don't know, less than 1/4 of a teaspoon into that little jar.
Tylo certainly seems to be very indispensable.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I couldn't do my job without it. So glue across that folded piece. And then I'm going to pop this sort of fairly central. I mean, can you see if I work this way? I want to make sure that the two ends, these two ends, are sort of fairly level with each other. And they are. So I'm going to turn it towards me now, and again, just use my Dresden tool just to press that down.
And bearing in mind you teach this for a living, do you find you get lots of people asking you to make things for them?
I do, yes.
Do you have to kind of draw the line and say, actually...
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And that's the thing, you know, it does, for the kind of things that people ask me to do, take an awful long time, and I just honestly don't have the time. Do you want me to move that back?
Thank you. But certainly, you know, you can do it yourself and have a lot of fun along the way as well. Because,
absolutely.
You know, all of these things, they're not expensive, but when you've got the tools, for example, you've got them for life then, haven't you, really? And
that's the thing, you know, it is all about having the right tools, having the right things to make your job easy. The tools make us look clever. You know, we're really not. So now I'm going to pop the strap on, because the strap will help to hold these two sides together. So just, again, a little bit of edible glue on there. You can trim this to size if it's, you know, if it's too long for what you're, for the look you want. Just press.
Now, we're only too well aware that, obviously, bearing in mind the number of people that Christina has on social networks, Rosie last week as well, there are lots of you who are being told about these shows that perhaps have never watched Create and Craft before. And if you're one of them, welcome. You too can enjoy ordering from us as well. It's dead easy, on the phones, on the website as well. The Create and Craft Club, well, that's there for you to join if you'd like to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You don't save your 10%, of course, if you're not in the club, but maybe you're not worried about that. So it is all there for you to order, whether you're brand new or whether you're an existing Create and Craft Club customer.
I'm just doing the same again, just starting to give that... I'm sort of encouraging the paste over, really, is what I'm doing here. And I've just popped a little piece of foam in there. That will help to support that strap, but because it's got that Tylo in, it's not really going anywhere. I don't even think the strap's sitting on that, that bit of foam there.
Would you take that out later?
I'll actually take it out in a minute once I've got this piece in. I tend to stand it up because I'm going to show you... Do you remember earlier I mentioned about that spare paste that we'd mixed? So I'm going to use that now as a toe support. So I don't know if you spotted on the board earlier that I've popped a little piece of paste up in this top. And it just helps to give it the shape underneath that shoe. Nobody's really going to be wearing this shoe, so you might as well put a secret support in there. So just a little ball of paste, a little bit of glue. Pop that on.
So that's going to help to make it keep its shape.
It will, yes.
Yeah.
And then we'll get...
Do you find people actually keep these after the actual cake is gone?
Yes,
Do they keep them as like keepsakes?
Yeah, always. You know, and in my classes where I'm teaching cupcakes and things, you know, they'll take them home and then they'll message me saying, "Oh, well, I actually got them to take the toppers off," and they just ate the cake.
And do they just kind of last forever, really? Or?
Well, sugar, you know, sugar's a natural preservative, so really it would keep indefinitely. I mean, of course, you need to protect them from moisture, so humidity, you need to protect them from the sunshine, and that sort of thing. But actually, yes, they do. I certainly wouldn't want to eat them after a month or two. But I mean, you could certainly, if you wanted to prepare things, so say for a wedding, if you were making lots of decorations for a wedding, you could prepare them well in advance and just store them not in an airtight container initially. You need the paste to dry out. So store it in sort of a cardboard box and that sort of thing, something covered up to protect it from the dust. I'm just easing that paste in. Now I'm working blind because I want to be able to keep the viewers in the loop, if you like.
The cameras can see it.
Yes, so but I'm just going to pull this side down now.
This is taking shape, though. No mistaking what this is going to be.
Now I'm thinking, why did I use red? I'm going to be absolutely covered in red for the rest of the show, but never mind. I should have said, this one's yours to do, Dave. So again, get that Dresden tool in there and push that down. I think Rosie was saying last week, you know, her Dresden tool's her go-to tool.
Is that the same for you as well?
Yes, it definitely is, yes.
Remember, every week at 5 o'clock we have Cake Academy. It's been me for the first couple of shows, and I think I'm doing next week as well. But there'll be lots of other presenters and lots of other guests as well, sharing their expertise with you, with us, every Sunday at 5. And if you want a series link on Sky, you can do that. Just basically go into your settings, press series link, and yeah, every single Sunday this show will be recorded, and also other shows that are related to this will also be recorded as well. So if we maybe have an extra special cake show midday on a Tuesday or whatever, if you've recorded the series link at Sundays at 5, that will also be recorded for you as well. So
I'm just going to pop that back in there now, just to support it a little bit while it dries. Just check around there.
I can see why this is the most popular craft around.
Yeah, yeah. And you sort of want to get in, you know. If I'm watching students work and I just think, oh, I want to go, you know, and I've already done my demo, but I do want to have a good old play. So there we go. And then, of course, you can just keep checking it. Just check, because it might start to sort of fall slightly. And you can just sort of move it back a little bit. With the Tyler, your paste will start to sort of leather up. And once it's leathering up, you can then start to just manipulate it a little bit.
Well, in the scheme of things, we've been on air for about 25 minutes. That's now done and dusted. And it started off from scratch. You know, nothing was made at all. So remember, if you do want to have the downloadable template, that's absolutely free of charge if you find it on our website. It's in the Cake Academy section of the website. And yeah, you just print that off. Probably a good idea would be to laminate it, which is what we've done here. It gives it rigidity, and you can wipe it clean as well. But that's the actual, as you can see, 2, 4, 6, 7-piece template set there, which you can print off absolutely free if you go to the Cake Academy selection, which is just there. So there we are, telling you a little bit about Christina. Also, what we're planning to do in the show as well. This is lesson number 2. createandcraft.tv/Cake Academy will take you to that page, and you'll find the free download there, of course, as well.
Right.
Now, let's just remind you of what we've used then in that particular demo. Take a little look. This is like a little shopping list, if you'd like it. So what we used was, of course, the Wilton 2-piece dusting brush set. That's on the website as well. And, of course, the 10-piece fondant kit, that'll be on the website as well, the toolkit. And it's also coming up on the screen any second now. But the dusting brush, there it is, if you would like that, $9.99. We started that with, of course, our... what was the powder we used at the beginning?
The Tyler?
The
corn flour.
Corn flour, that's
yes.
right. That's what we used, the corn flour with the dusting brush set was there. It is the Cake Academy on this Sunday afternoon. So we're moving then from the fantastic little baby's shoe, onto our next project, which is all about teddy bears. Now, if you have a little look at this cake in front of me here, these are the most divine teddy bear faces you could ever possibly wish to find. And you could be making fantastic cakes with these. We've actually got various moulds, as Christina was saying earlier on. The Karen Davis moulds, they may be new to you, you may have seen them before. These moulds will help you to achieve these fantastic expressions and characters. And look at that one with his googly eyes just there in the middle, the tiny one. Isn't he gorgeous? So details on the screen if you want the mould.
So this one is the Karen Davis border mould that you're showing now. So, and that's actually the one I'm going to use, but I'm going to use just one of the bears from it to make an embellishment for the front of the shoe.
You've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bears in one line there.
Yes,
so
and they're all different as well,
easily.
you know, so you can get that sort of, you can give them that googly eye look and what have you. So yeah, I think I used 2.5 strips to go around that cake.
Right.
But as I say, I'm going to just use one, and I think I'm going to pick this, let's have a look. Now, I'm going to pick that one out of the middle.
So the biggest one.
Yes, it's bigger because it's easier to see, but maybe a little bit too big for that shoe, so I'll use one that I've made earlier. A little bit of corn flour in there, tap out the excess.
The shoe with the bear?
Yes, I'm going to make an embellishment for the shoe rather. So I'm going to pop a tiny little bit of black paste into that nose. Now, the secret with moulds is to underfill them, so never let them have a domed back.
Oh, okay.
Preferably a sort of a concave back. And if you grab your ball tool out of your kit...
Remember, you can use these moulds as well, not just with sugar paste. You can use them for card making as well, if you like the idea of using the bears' faces on cards. But what we always say is don't mix the two together.
No, that's right. Get a separate one for your edible products. So I've just pushed that black paste into here. Now I'm going to pop a paler brown in just for the muzzle. The only thing is, when you're cake decorating, when you're sugar crafting, time just flies by.
I can imagine.
You know, when I used to sew with my late granny, you know, I'd sit in her sewing room, and I swear blind, my granddad used to mess about with the clocks because I'd just get so lost in the, you know, in the craft. And it's the same with sugar craft.
Well, I'll be honest with you, last week's show went in like a flash. I couldn't believe an hour had gone. It's the same with this week, we're halfway through already.
So I've just popped that paste into the muzzle. Again, just underfill it, make sure it's got that dipped back. If you don't underfill it, you'll find when you put your paste in, it will spread all over the place. A little bit of corn flour onto my fingers.
It's lovely having a masterclass with you, because that's what really this is, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, and that's the idea, you know, to take it. If people, as you say, they're doing the series link and things, they can watch it, they can rewind it, they can slow things down, they can work along with me if they've got the tools and the templates and things. So I've just worked that paste into there. So you see I've got too much there. You can either scrape that off with your thumb, but because I've got the scissors to hand, I'm going to just chop that excess off. And then when I take it out, I'll also need to trim just at the side. So peel that back.
Oh, look.
And you see, I've just got those little bits here that I can either nudge over to the back. That's where it was going to go into the next bear. Now, I want to do something else with this. So I'm going to take my curved scissors and I'm just going to chop some little, or give some little snips.
Oh, to give him fur.
To give him fur, just to texture that. So I won't do the whole thing because I've got one there anyway. So I'll just show you adding the eye now.
If I just show you what you've done, look at that, isn't that lovely? So just a little snip with some curved scissors, and suddenly he's got a lovely furry face.
That's right. Or you could just give him just a little bit of a
little tuft.
top.
That could be Mr. and Mrs., couldn't it?
It could. Yeah, it could. But we're doing a baby show, so
yes.
it would be Miss and Master. Yeah, that's it. So now I'm just going to use a little ball tool. I could have used that one actually. There. So I'm just going to drop a little nonpareil, or a big nonpareil, should I say, or a sugar ball.
What did you call it?
Well, nonpareil, that's a French term. They're usually the small ones, but this one's a bigger one. So, dragée or dragée or...
I've never heard of that name before.
Right, well, nonpareil. I had a French lady in a class and she said it means, it loosely translated, it means it's of nothing, or something and nothing.
Right.
So I suppose because they're usually very, very small. But there you go, so I've just popped him some pearls in there.
Come alive now, hasn't he, with
for
the
his
eyes?
eyes, hasn't he just?
Yeah.
And you can always put a little bit of white paint on there for, you know, to highlight his eyes as well, if you like. Then we're going to stick this one. I'll use the one I prepared earlier. A little bit of sugar glue.
Or again, Tylo with water makes
yeah.
the glue.
It's, for me, in my classes, it's much more hygienic to do it that way, the Tylo and water. It means I can change the Tylo, the glue, you know, quite regularly without worrying about having to keep throwing it away, because of course I get lots of people in my classes as well, and they all sort of drop little bits into the paste. So there's my
Isn't that sweet?
shoe.
So we've made the shoe, we've now decorated the shoe as well, all using sugar paste, bit of Tylo, a couple of the moulds. It's all on the website if you want to kind of shop along with us so that you can recreate these at home in the near future if you want to. So the website, remember, is createandcraft.tv, and details of what we've actually used in this particular demonstration was the border mould, the teddy bear border mould, which is actually 6 teddies in one, but you can just fill one if you want to, do them all at a time, it's up to you. And the teddy face cupcake mould is also available too at $10.99. Now, we didn't actually show you that, but I think it's this one over here.
Yes, yes,
so
it is.
if you have a little look here, the mould to make that is 357422, and that's what it will give you. So perfect size and perfect shape for a cupcake topper. So that's 421, and it is, of course, our Sunday regular date for the Cake Academy. Now, using moulds to decorate is hugely popular, and all of our cake mould shows, whether it's Katie Sue or whatever brand it might be, always absolutely fly. We're talking babies in the theme this particular week with our cake decorating with Christina, and obviously boys and girls. So let's move on to another mould selection now. These are from...
So these are Katie Sue's.
Yeah.
And we've got a little girl and a little boy. Now, there are lots of samples about this Leonie cake here with the little girl. I think there are perhaps a couple of little boys down the front. But I'm actually going to use the boy mould, but I'm going to make him into a little girl.
Well, there's a little boy, and then above, or up, there we go, the little girl, as you can see, is just there. Isn't she sweet?
But I like to play around with my moulds. I like to get more than one use out of them. So I'm going to use the little boy, and as I say, I'm going to use pink paste to make him into a little girl. So I've dusted a little bit of corn flour in there, and I've tapped out the excess.
Now, this is under the same item number, and regular viewers will know this, but if you're brand new, which you may well be, the same item number, if you order both, you only pay one postage of $2.99. So if you do fancy the boy and the girl, just one P&P of $2.99 to pay, so you save more money that way.
Now, the detail in this mould, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, in the little girl, the detail in the shoes and things, they're stunning. They really are... you know, they do make our job easy. They
The
make
lovely
us
thing
look
as well
good.
is that you can make them in whatever colour you want, with whatever colour hair you want. So you can make, you know, three girls could be completely different.
And you can personalise it then as well for the recipient, you know, if you, or indeed have, you know, baby showers are quite popular. I should have been at my friend Charlotte's baby shower last night, and I feel terrible, but I was elbow deep in cake and babies. But you know, they're very popular now. So you could have a reveal the sex of the baby and have the little baby on top, and then colour the cake inside in a particular colour, and that sort of thing.
Give her a cake, and I'm sure she'll be fine.
Yes, yeah. Well, actually, she comes to classes, and she could make a lovely cake herself too.
Right,
so,
fantastic.
so I've just popped the pink in there, the flesh colour rather. I'm going to put a little tiny bit of flesh colour into the hand. A good little tip would be. If you're new with this particular mould, or if you've only just had a particular mould, if you make one piece first, you know, just pop any colour paste in and take it out, so you can actually see what goes where. You know, you can see which bits you want to add the different colour to. Because it's quite tricky sometimes when you're just looking at a mould like that and you think, well, I don't really know what's where.
You're adding different colour of sugar paste to different parts of the mould, but I suppose if you wanted to do it in white and then paint it
and
afterwards.
then paint afterwards, absolutely, yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, the reason we've sort of called this intermediate moulding, if you like, is just because we're taking it one step further. So I've just poked a little hole in there, and it's just so that I can pop it into those into each leg there. So pop that in. Make sure we go over the top of all the bits that we've already put in there, but just keep that teddy bear free down here. There's actually a rabbit in this one. And just scrape off the excess.
And remember, the beautiful thing about these shows is everything that we're demonstrating is available on the phones or the website too. So if you're thinking, I'd like to have a go at this, how do I get that mould? Where can I get that from? The answer's here. And that's where it'll be every single Sunday for the time being. 5 o'clock every Sunday, an hour of cake decorating.
I can't believe we've got our own hour. I'm so excited about that. The TV's mine now on a Sunday evening.
You've got the remote control and everything else.
Yes, definitely. I think, aren't we up against the rugby today or something?
But if anyone's missing, maybe you missed last week's show, or someone you know is missing this week's show, you can always look back at it on the website if you want to, and rewind and watch the show back up to 7 days. So this particular show will be available to watch again on our website up to 7 days after the airing of it.
So I'm just using my Dresden tool just to push that paste back out of the way again now of the little teddy, or the little rabbit. And just pop a little bit of this paste.
Actually, is it available 7 days, or is it a month? A month after the show. It's up to a month, not 7 days. It's up to a month.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, so lesson 1 is still there, so that's good.
So I'm just going to extend that little bit of paste so that it can go down into his arm there. You don't really have to do that. That's just my way.
Yeah.
So just push that paste in, scrape off the excess with your thumb. Push back in to make sure that you've got right into the depth of the mould, and just stroke back from the edges, from those outside edges. If you're wanting a really neat edge, you must be able to see all the way around that mould.
Right, nothing overhanging.
No, nothing at all. And a good way to sort of help it to release, just give it a squeeze, and do you see it's already starting to come away from the sides. And just fold this back and just ease it out gently, because we don't want to leave bits in the mould.
Oh, look at this.
Oops.
I think we've tapped a nerve with these moulds. You're loving these. I'm not surprised. Look at this.
Did you see? I've just stretched his arm, but just push it back. And of course you can mould these, you can sit him up. If you really wanted to sort of sit him right up, or sit her right up, you could get your Dresden tool in here, just into the thighs there, and just bring that up.
How gorgeous is that?
And then of course you can paint in the detail, so you can use when I'm using paste or food colours, you know, like the Pro Gels and things to paint with, I like to use alcohol, or a clear alcohol. But if I'm using lustres, then I prefer to use lemon extract.
Right.
Lemon extract just enables your paste to sort of stay, or paint if you like, stays paintable for a little bit longer. It gives you a bit more working time.
So this is lemon extract, is it, you say?
Yeah, so that's with lemon extract. If you're going to paint, you know, like with a lustre.
Right. So is that, it's not the juice of a lemon, it's something that you buy?
No, do you see, it's in the baking aisle, you know, where the glycerin and that sort of thing, and the vanilla extract is. So it is just a lemon extract. It's like a serum.
Now, one of the baby moulds has gone limited stock, I think. Oh, both of them have. Ooh. We only got less than 10% of the baby moulds
Really?
left, so I knew they'd be popular as soon as I saw them.
Oh,
I
they're
thought you'd absolutely love them.
stunning, aren't they?
So,
and it's just typical Katie Sue quality, you know, that attention to detail. Just looking for a paintbrush that's...
so grab them while we've got them, because they're less than 10% remaining for both the baby boy and the baby girl as well.
I'm just going to do... I won't finish painting the whole of the face. I'll just give you an idea of what we're doing. So I put a little bit of clear alcohol in there. A tiny touch of the paint, of the food colour paste that we used earlier.
Oh, it's a gel paste, isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
And just mix that. And I like to use it quite dilute, so quite sort of, almost just a wash, I suppose. And then use my brush on its side, and do you see, just to pick out that detail of that hair. I won't spend too long on it because I really want to get you piping with the buttercream. I'm determined.
You'll regret saying that. I've got to say hello to Tracy Short, who's in Hull, while we're watching you do that. She says, good evening, Christina, Dave, and all the Sunday crew. I've been looking forward to this show all week. I love Christina's style when she teaches all the tips and tricks when working with Sugarpaste. I have the Katie Sue double DVD set, and they are amazing. I learnt so much by watching them. I haven't done many decorated cakes, but attached is my most recent, which I made for my granddaughter's first birthday. I hope you like it. Oh, wow, look at this.
Look at the glasses, I can't see.
Look at that lovely elephant, the number one.
Oh, how fab.
Isn't that great?
Oh,
And
we
that's
could
the
have had
first
that on
attempt.
today's show. We could have had that here, couldn't we? Showing it off.
That's a first attempt.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
See, that just shows you what's possible, doesn't it?
Thank you, Tracy, for that. And we always love to share your makes as well. So as the weeks go on and more of you find this particular show, take a picture of whatever you've made, save it for a Sunday, email it in to us, and we'll show it if you give us permission as well.
So with this, we could actually paint the eyelashes in. I'm using quite a big brush here. So just run a line along that eyelid there. We could dust a little bit of powder colour onto the cheeks, so the rainbow dust powder colours onto the cheeks. Or, as I said earlier, we could make a little bit of a lustre using the lemon extract. Pop a little bit. I'll only make a tiny little bit.
Is it?
Yeah, well, yes, you'd call it edible mica, yeah. I mean, anybody not involved in sugar, in regular crafts wouldn't, you know, I can't imagine a sugar crafter would really know it as anything other than edible lustre. So it's just an edible lustre dust, yeah. So just, I'm just touching into that. It does, yes. And as I say, with adding the lemon extract, it gives it sort of that bit of extra time while you're painting. Oops, while you're painting with it. I wouldn't normally use a brush as big as this. But do you see? Just to paint up that detail.
Fantastic.
And then you could pop the eyes in the teddy and that sort of thing as well. But as I say, I really want to get you on to doing this.
Well, let's move on to that then in a second. But remember, if you do want the moulds from Katie Sue, the boy and the girl, I'm afraid both of them have now just this minute sold out. So if you're on the website and you've got it in your basket, you've still got one, but please do check out. OK, so congratulations if you got those, and sorry if you missed them. So welcome back. It's the Cake Academy for a Sunday. I'm Dave, and the lovely Christina is with me as well, giving us her hints and tips throughout the show. And this is what I've been looking forward to, actually. I've been looking forward to the whole show. But have a look over here at this finished teddy. Now, this is actually a mould from Wilton. I said before that we have in stock everything that Wilton sells. Normally, retailers stock a few things from Wilton, a bit here, a bit there. We have got the entire inventory of everything that Wilton has to offer, the cake decorator and baker. If you want to check the website, you'll see the Wilton shop just there. But we have everything available and everything in stock, including this fantastic teddy mould that's here today. And we've actually got the details on the screen for the tip, which delivers the kind of fur. But if you want the teddy mould, that's available as well on the website.
Right, so as you say, we've used the Wilton cake pan here. Now, what I've also done, because I've used it to pipe, I've used the tools rather to pipe the fur on, but actually I wanted the face in fondant. So I've used this mould, or this cake pan, to make the little pieces. So I've literally pressed paste into there. As I've taken it out, it's got the pattern on there, and it's given me the outline for the nose. So I just made a pebble of black paste, stuck that on.
I wouldn't have thought of doing that. I would have thought of it for the sponge, but not actually
yeah,
for the
and
fondant.
it helps with the positioning as well, because you can really make him look completely different if you put things on in the wrong way, and in the wrong place rather. And I've actually done the same for the eyes. So can I pass them to you? Do you fancy sticking them on?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll pass you the edible glue, and I'll be filling up this piping bag.
So do I put edible glue over the whole surface?
Yeah, you
or?
can just literally just slap a little bit in the middle. It's not going to go anywhere. Gravity's on our side with this one. I'm just going to open up this rather huge piping bag. And for this one, I'm going to be using the Wilton piping tip, so the 233, which again I believe is available on the website.
Yep, that's there, and it's that nib that actually gives you the fur feeling.
That's right. It's ideal for things like grass as well. You see, it's got multi-opening there. It's got lots of little holes in the top. So I'm going to pop it into my piping bag. Just snip the end off this piping bag.
I'll just pop his eyes on now.
Yes.
And you can have fun with the eyes. You can make him look a bit gormless. You can make him look cute, sleepy, if you want to.
I don't know what you mean. But you certainly can. So I've just got the... Make sure the end of the tip is just exposed. Now I'm popping it over this jug or a glass or something like that just to keep the bag open. Now we've also got some buttons and a little bow. The bow can't go on yet, but you could always stick those buttons down a tummy.
Okay. So we've actually got like a his and hers.
Yes.
So this is
yes,
the his.
That's right.
This is the hers. Here's one we did with blue, obviously, earlier on. But isn't he a great character?
It's lovely, and you'll see when we pipe this fur on, it's so easy.
Ooh.
And it's...
Got my brush. Sorry.
Never mind, we're not...
Second rule.
Really. Yeah. I've heard that rule gets longer the further north you go.
Oh, really?
Apparently.
So they drop things more up.
Yeah, that must be it, and they can and it's something like a 4-minute rule.
I somehow don't think that's the case, but anyway.
No, it's probably not, but I can say it because I'm quite northern. Well, actually, I'm very central. So, right, so I'm popping some buttercream in here. I've actually coloured it. We could colour it with our food colours, you know, our paste colours or gel colours. But actually, I just coloured this with cocoa.
Oh, okay.
You can probably smell it. Right, so I'm going to shake that down. I'm just going to push this down to the end.
Obviously, we're using this for a bear, but this nib from Wilton, the 2331, could be for any animal that you want to make. Could be a cat, could be a dog.
Or as I say, grass. You know, it's lovely for grass. Yeah. So, right, let's move this so I damage limitation. I'm a messy worker, can you see?
I am too, so
that's good. Right, so the secret with this is not to move too quickly. So you touch down, almost touch down, squeeze, let your paste come through, or let your buttercream come through to take a hold of the cake, and then pull away while you're still squeezing.
Right.
And then stop squeezing and pull again. So I'm just going to show you a little bit, and you can sort of determine the direction by the way you pull away. So I'm going to squeeze, let it get a good grip, and then pull away. So squeeze, let it get a good grip, and pull away. And if you start sort of at the bottom, if you like, so I tend to work all the way around.
So you go on the outside edge first.
Yes,
okay.
And then go on top of it. So then you cover up where you've been.
Ooh.
Remember to breathe while you're doing it. Quite often students hold the breath.
I was holding my breath actually.
And they get to the end and it's. That's it, and squeeze with both hands, and you're doing right by holding the very top here, just to stop all of that pressure going back up on itself, and forcing the paste out of the top.
This is where the training course came in really handy.
Yeah, did you? Oh, of course, I forget you went on your training course, didn't you?
Good fun.
And of course, if you find your paste is always, or your buttercream is always coming out of the top end, you could always use an elastic band or something to free up one of your hands.
It's not difficult. I thought it would be.
No, it's not difficult. And with buttercream as well. Buttercream's a beautiful medium to work with. It's, you know, it's so soft. Yes. So you're not really into cakes, but do you like buttercream? Oh well, there you go.
If on the odd occasion I do have a cake and it's got buttercream in it, I'm very happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You see, I used to. I've convinced myself I don't like them anymore because I'm trying to lose a bit of weight, but. That's looking fab.
Right.
Yes, that's looking superb. And you would literally just carry on until you get to the end. Now,
How many bags of this would this take to do?
Well, 2 actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably filled that bag probably about a third full last night, and I had to put another little bit in to do another bit of the one on the board, on the table rather. Do we have time for another very quick buttercream demonstration?
Yeah, we've got 9 minutes or so.
Oh, fab.
Do you want me to finish this off?
Yes, if you're happy to finish it off, you carry on.
The crew are salivating at this point, thinking that.
Well, as I say, we're on diet, so I won't be taking it home. So feel free to tuck in.
My producer's just said, "Are you leaving it here?"
I am. Yes.
Whoa! There's going to be a stampede down at the end of the show. I can see it.
Now, quick disclaimer: I used a cake mix for it, so it's. Right.
That's one line done.
Fabulous.
Carry on.
Just another 30 odd to go.
Yeah. But you know what? When you've got the right tools, and this is the Wilton
Exactly.
233 nib that I'm using at the moment, you know, I'm no professional cake decorator by any stretch of the imagination, but I think I'm getting good results.
You are. You'll never know where I stopped and you started.
And everything Wilton, remember, lots of other cake decorating companies as well. Check out the website. We're going to be the one-stop shop when it comes to cake decorating in the United Kingdom. As I said before, the Wilton brand, we've got everything that they actually manufacture, every single item in stock on the website. So whenever you need anything, you know you can go there and find it. It's so frustrating sometimes when you maybe hope to find something, but that's not in stock. They don't stock that
Yeah,
particular...
or then you have to pay 3 different lots of postage and that sort of thing by ordering from different websites.
Yep, order from us. It's all capped P&P of £6.99 for 3 items or more. Never more than that.
So I've just popped some pink buttercream into this piping bag now. So I'm going to pipe a 2-tone buttercream rose. So I want just the edges in the pink. So I'm going to pull this down and I'm just going to smash this paste around a little bit inside. What I'm aiming to do is coat the inside of the piping bag with the pink.
Right.
Then I'm going to open it up again. I'm going to pop it on top of my jug and I'm going to fill the bag with the cream coloured buttercream.
He's taking shape now, isn't he?
He is. Have you pushed his eye? It looks like one of his eyes has gone up a little bit. Maybe not.
Maybe.
This jug might
It could be
a bit
googly-eyed.
big. That jug's a bit too big for this, so I'll just do it by hand.
Wish I could send you a slice. That'd be good.
The rest of the team don't. They want it all
Well,
left
that's
for
true,
them.
yeah. What are the perks of the job? How are you getting on with yours?
Okay, well, I'm struggling with that big jug, so I've decided I'm going to use my hand instead. So I'm just going to put my cream colour in and pull that down.
I do go very quiet when I'm concentrating.
You do,
I'm
don't
sorry.
you? But at least you're breathing now, so that's okay.
Squeeze it just underneath the eye. Nearly there now.
So with mine, I'm just going to squeeze that bit out. So you saw what I did. I've got basically a dirty bag, I suppose. I've put the pink all the way around the edge to dirty the sides of the bag with the pink, and then I've filled the cream colour in the centre. So to get a buttercream swirl or a buttercream rose, I've twisted the top of my bag so that all my pressure can be forcing down towards the nib. If I'm going to start squeezing here, I never call it a nib, it's because you did, towards the tip. But I want to be able to squeeze with both hands, so perfectly upright with my piping bag, not quite touching the cupcake. Start squeezing, and it's all about matching the speed that you're moving with the pressure that you're applying.
Right.
So if you start to get breaks, it's because you're moving too quick, so you need to either slow down or squeeze harder. If you end up with it very wavy, you're squeezing too hard, so you need to either speed up your moving or squeeze less.
Okay.
So start squeezing, go around
Oh, nice. Look at this.
and around. And then stop squeezing and pull down. So do
What
you
a
see you
great
get
tip
that?
to get that two-tone as well.
Yes, yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? And then, of course, we can pop these little jelly sweets. Where you finish, where you sort of break off here, you can either pop a little embellishment, you know, the little teddy or something like that. Or...
Can I just show everyone the finished teddy?
Yeah, you show it off now.
There we
Look
go.
are you going to put her a bow in her hair? Finish
Absolutely,
her off
why
good
not?
style?
At the top or at the bottom?
I'd put it up there with her being a little girl, yes.
That's still wet, so that's fine.
That's it.
There you go. If I lift it up a little, hopefully
a job?
How about
That is
that?
fab.
How cute?
Well done.
And that's using the nib, or the tip, 233, to get real texture of fur. There he is.
That is
Oh, there she
brilliant.
is.
Oops.
On our overhead camera. Love it. Absolutely love it. Enjoyed
I
that.
just
Thank you.
finished that off with a couple of little jellies on there.
Superb. Well, here's a reminder of what we've used then in that particular demonstration. We might even have enough time to show you a little ribbon technique before the end of the show as well. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes left. We used the open top 233 nib, which is £3.49, and that's what we did the fur with, or I did the fur with. We also then had the Teddy Bake cake tin, remember, which is £14.99. That we used, of course, for the actual sponge, but then also used it for the features, the nose and the eyes as well. And then 25 metres of the baby feet ribbon as well. The edible jelly footprints too. They're also available, 357418. All of this you'll find on the website, of course, under the brand of the Cake Academy. And if you go to the actual website now, createandcraft.tv, you actually can click on See the Show Now, and it will show you everything in one long list that we've been using in our demonstrations with Christina and myself. I can't believe the hour's nearly over. We've got a couple of minutes left, though, to talk about ribbon. We weren't sure if we'd have enough time to do this or not. What do you want to show us with the ribbon?
Well, I'm just going to show you, really. It's just a very quick tip as to how to apply ribbon to your cake. You know, people, because we can't stick pins into cake as much as we might like to, you know, to secure the ribbon. If you're putting it around a cake board, you can always use you know, a glue stick,
sure.
and then you could always stick a pin in at the end because it's going into your board. But actually, we've got that back to front, and I'll put that on back to front. But if we're going to put some ribbon around the cake itself, I'm going to use this one. I wouldn't normally put it perhaps on this one because I would go with the teddy border. But just to show you how to apply it. So if you put you know, some people use a bit of royal icing, but you'll always see it through there. So just a very quick tip.
Is this special ribbon for cake or not?
No, but it is. I mean, it's obviously food safe, and it is designed. I think it's made by Culpit, who are a cake decoration supplier, and it's, you know, it's a lovely width for the to go around your cakes. And one good thing about ribbon is it can cover up a multitude of sins. So when you're covering a cake, you know, if you get your creases all around the bottom, it's a perfect way of covering up those creases.
It's like when you're making a card and you put a butterfly on it. It covers up anything that's gone wrong on the card.
That's what butterflies and bows are invented for.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I've got my ribbon. I've got a water spray here, or you could use a little bowl of water. I'm going to use the water spray just to make a little bit less mess. I want to wet the whole of the back of that ribbon. So I've wet it evenly, you know, I don't just want little bits of it wet. Run your hand down it and hope you don't have any food colouring on your fingers.
So the water will act as like a glue?
Yes, it will. And because I've added it, now I need to see where I'm going with this. So I'll start here. Because I've added the water to the whole thing, you know, it will dry out evenly without any patches on there.
Well, sadly, we're nearly out of time again. This is another top tip from Christina. We will be having more shows, of course, every Sunday at 5 here on Create and Craft. It's your one-stop shop for cake decorating. Tell your friends, spread the word, Facebook them, tweet them, or whatever you want to do to them, and get them to tune in each and every Sunday at 5 o'clock. And you can watch this show back if you've just missed it, just got in and realised, oh no, it's the Cake Decorating Show. Go to createandcraft.tv. You can watch it back there for a whole month. Christina, we've had a ball. Thank you ever so much. It's been great fun.
And it smells lovely.
It does smell lovely. And we'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Yes, yeah.
And remember, anything that you want that you've seen demonstrated in the show is also on the website and on the phones. Enjoy your cake decorating. See you soon.
Cake Masters magazine is one of the UK's leading cake decorating monthlies. It includes fabulous step-by-step cake tutorials, recipes, expert advice, competitions, interviews, design inspirations, and so much more. You can order your 12-month subscription to Cake Masters magazine right here for just £35 and with free UK P&P. To order your 12-month subscription, either visit createandcraft.tv or call 09056